I, there's no political opinions or anything. I'm just whatever. I'm just happy that the markets have rallied like crazy. As a matter of fact, I think, it wasn't just like one thing that rallied. It was a little bit of like everything. So markets are extremely hot right now. And it's actually getting really good. It's just getting started. And if it kind of requires you to live by the mantra of don't be cheap, because if you're being cheap right now, well, you already missed out. Just like maybe, I mean, the initial leg up right here, but it seems like I think there's a lot more to come. So give me just 1 second right here, and we'll dive right into it. Kind of requires you to. There we go. Okay, perfect, folks. We are good to go. So good morning, 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 morning. If you have any questions, feel free to chime in. But as you know, this week has been a fantastic week. Bitcoin officially at all-time highs here. We're at like what, 80,000? It's moving like right now. So, how do you guys feel? Do you feel like, this is a nice gut check, right? If you feel like you missed out, I also got, comments for you if you feel like you missed out. Or if you feel like the price is too high, I also have comments for you. Bernard says spreadsheets would say dream. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's get into it. Let's actually do the analytical work that we come in here and do every week, because I truly believe that's super important, just to calibrate and understand how markets move. And as you can see right here on the screen, Bitcoin, and you folks can't see my screen, right? I think yep, I am sharing it properly, as far as I know. Yeah, if you can see the screen right here, Bitcoin is moving really well. I mean, it's not just Bitcoin. If you actually look at the entire crypto cap, it's actually doing really well. So if we spin over to Crypto Consolidate over here, and you can see that, this is the total cap. My alert just went off this morning right here. So we are going into like everything all-time highs in the crypto space, which is pretty fantastic, right? Uh, is this too high? No, I think we're probably going to go a lot higher, right? Based off of like what we saw last week. There's a lot of interesting plays that it's just like almost like long left and right. So we're going to review those today, and it's going to be a fun session. Bernard says it'd be interesting to get your view on a stock, view of the stock on. Sure. Is that the shoes? I'm guessing it's the shoes. Man, I'm just watching Bitcoin right now, going up even more, right? We could switch down, go into like a lower time frame and just watch it move for the rest of the meeting here, right? It's just too exciting right now. Nice move up here above 80,000, and it's just pushing up to 80,666. So I think a lot more money is going to come into here. And then this time around, don't forget, we got Wall Street participation, right? I'm pretty happy because for next week, I already have calls loaded on Coin over here, and then also MicroStrategy, right? And for you in MicroStrategy, you have some calls that expire next Friday, and they're most likely they were out of money, so I got them pretty cheap, I would say. So this is Coin right here, right? Big move up out of that downtrend line right there, and then I switch over to MicroStrategy right here. You also, we could just anticipate this one's moving to all-time high. Well, hold on. I can't say. Yep, is the all-time highs? Yep, 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 yep. Because I know we, at one point this thing was like 1,300, right? But we basically split it down to like $130. So I won't be surprised if MicroStrategy can get to a double double right here, right? Or even $1,000. I won't be surprised at all. But I think come Monday, with the way Bitcoin is performing right now, this thing gaps up $300. So I did have some position trades, or it's like a different tranches of trades, but I do have Friday strikes, next Friday strikes. So it expires next Friday or this coming Friday, strikes at 300, and I think those are going to hit. So I'm pretty sure. I mean, let's see where this one opens up. It has to open up at the very least, it has to open like 10% higher, right? Seeing the trajectory of Bitcoin right now. Again, super exciting all around. We're gonna dive deeper into it. Bernard wants me to look at a stock real quick on, see how this one's doing. There's just too many stocks right now. Like left and right, everything is rallying. I mean, we got like a mega, I would say a mega global breakout rally, you could say. Sort of like it's almost like this election was like global earnings. Like it's like earnings for like every single stock, or the S&P 500, Nasdaq, Dow Jones. Things just broke out to the upside. So I definitely anticipate, higher inflation to come. sadly, right? If you guys saw in the FinViz Club Telegram group chat, I posted a post from X or Twitter, and this girl was just complaining about a $7 Apple, right? I think things are going to get a lot worse based off like the observations that we did throughout the pandemic, but really exciting. So I'm looking at on right here, Bernard, the one that you asked for. This is Barron's top choice for this week. For this week, huh? Let's see. As to why, I mean, I want to ask why. I want to zoom out. So we do see a big sell-off right here, right? In the last, many months, last year actually. Why is it a top pick? Did it say why? I mean, I don't see anything just yet. But if you ask me a top pick for me in the semi space, it's probably not Arista, Astera Labs over here. So this one's a fresh IPO, just like Reddit and Rubrik. They're also outperforming. This one gapped up on earnings right here, is pushing out higher, basically at all-time highs. Fresh IPO yet again, right? So this is it right here. I like stuff like this because it's fresh IPO. I think the way the market perceives it is like, hey, it's so fresh that no one really knows, like how high it could go, right? You really have to add your imaginations right here. So if you ask me, Bernard, between these two, I mean, semiconductor space, it definitely looks good for this week as well. I mean, everything looks good this week. Like the fangs look good, the indices look good, crypto looks good, technology looks good. I don't know what doesn't look good. So we got a lot to work on going into the week. It's a matter of like, I think at this point, this is one of those moments where like when or when this big mania or frenzy kicks in, the saying is like there's going to be way too many names that you could capture. Like that's how easy it should be, and something like this could last for like maybe hopefully like a good 3 months. So I think in the next 3 months or until year end and then beginning of next year, we're going to see quite a fantastic rally. So I know you say this one's a Barron's top choice right here, but I don't see anything yet. I wouldn't be interested in this until we move higher. I'd rather see the bigger player come in, but I definitely see a huge amount of accumulation right here, right? So if you look at the volume right there, so it definitely looks like someone's accumulating this, but for now, not interested right now. Maybe I'll be interested later. Maybe it'll pop up on my radar when it starts to perform, but right now it's not performing. So that's my take on that. But what is performing is where my interest should be. So if you ask me, we're gonna go back to crypto over here. See yet again where the percentages are just going up, 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 and up, up, and up. You could say over here. So we're up 4.69% on this one. Ethereum also up. I mean across the board, like Solana, all the layer one, Solana, maybe not near, but Sui. These projects are really rallying right here. So I don't know. It's just this is the weekend right here, right? This is the weekend where things are happening. So Ethereum above the 200-day moving average. I definitely think this thing's gonna go higher as well with the rest of the markets. It's just wild, like too wild. So let's dive into some sophisticated charts over here. All right, so starting from the top, shall we do macro or look at the actual stocks? Let's do stocks that I'm going to be looking at next week, right? So Tesla, right? Let's start off with Tesla right here. This one gapped up a lot. Let's show you guys the charts once it loads up right there. There you go. So what do we know about Tesla, right? Going into this, I mean, this thing really started to move. If we zoom out, right, this is what it looked like on the monthly. Lots of choppiness. You see the main thing that I drew on here was the red trend line right there. So that's the red trend line right there. We got out. It just took some time, and now we're really on the move, right? So that was the first initial signal of like, hey, reversal's developing. And then after that, we want to zoom in a little bit more just to kind of get a feel. So now we're going in from the monthly to the weekly. Basically, on the weekly, I'm going to take out some of the drawings. You have above the 200-day moving average on the weekly right there, right? Let me actually refresh this. Hold on. Let me refresh this so we can annotate and I don't have to worry about if it saves or not. That way I could draw whatever I want. So back to the weekly right here. So this is the weekly chart right here. All right. If I put my drawing back on there, never mind. That didn't work. Didn't work as planned. Looking at the 200-day moving average on the weekly right here, right? So, I like, I definitely see this and we're moving out higher, but let me zoom out and draw that trend line for you guys. So this is basically what I was looking at, really what everyone was looking at. Like you want to look at where consensus is looking at, right? So a lot of the times, like in the marketplace, the trick of it is to figure out where's consensus. And obviously consensus was looking at this line right here, right? This line that I just drew. So it got above this line right here. It took some time, of course, right? And then, events like recently, like the election and stuff like that, really got the stock to move. But I anticipate this one's going to be a multi-bagger. I mean, this one could probably, it's probably going to clear 500 this time pretty quickly. Zooming out right here, right? Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we're going to revisit highs right here. So I did sell some. I know, I know. Because I had like the March 2025 calls on it, right? And they were like really up. But I think this is just the start of the move. I just, maybe a pullback, I'll start adding more. I definitely think it will pull back, but this is again, this is all a start to a move right here. Bernard says maybe the Cyber tank or truck will be the new presidential limousine. Hey, maybe. Cyber tank. That could be the case, but Elon Musk is really hitting the social media distribution or the channels. Again, like whatever narratives that are really running that you hear people talking about, we want to go and visit those stocks, right? Because those stocks will continue to perform. Like for example, the RKLB over here, the rocket stocks. Again, Elon Musk trending on the news, rocket stocks. Look at this one. Look at the performance of this one. It continues to go higher, right? So yeah, narratives really work, and when the music stops, the musical chair stops. That's when we want to get out. So always have risk management first. Whether it's like the low of this tick right here, the last candle right there, or whatever price or moving average or gut instinct. Always have some sort of risk management, right? That's key. So that's RKLB. Going over to like other stocks, man. It's just like there's so many things to look at right now. I definitely think, okay, top plays for next week, right? Just looking at the way crypto's moving right now, this is going to be a top play next week, right? This one we're really going to have to watch. This one is, let's zoom out. Let's see the monthly right here. This is what it looks like right here, right? So we know, again, I personally like to zoom out and calibrate, but we know that this is the, one of the highs right there. So let's zoom in. So about 270. No, never mind. It's above that. This is the weekly right here, right? This is the weekly. This is what it looks like. This one going over the top right here, 284. We're gonna see some fireworks right there. So zoom in, because like again, this week, after the election, like it's funny, like earnings brought this thing down, but then the election brought this thing back up, and it's moving really strong. So I definitely think this one is, to me, it's a chase, right? It's a chase, and it's gonna be hard because you can't be cheap. It's the name of the game. So I'm really bullish this one going into next week, right? Anything that's associated with anything like this is going to be really bullish. So this one, right? This one's going to be really bullish right here. Let me see. So MicroStrategy right here, right? This one, I don't know. This cycle, I don't know. It's just, I mean, this is the monthly right here, right? We're already working with a lot here, but this thing could probably double. Like I wouldn't be surprised this thing running up to like 500 in like the next 30 days. That's pretty aggressive. 300 in the next 30 days, very doable. I mean, 300 coming out next week, but 400, 350. Let me see. Let's start measuring right here. So, I mean, even if we run at the very least 10%, right? So 10%, if it's 10%, we're gonna be like right there. And then if it's 20%, we'll be like right there. That's wild, huh? 350, 20%, next 30 days. Ooh, ooh. Oh boy. There's also this. There's also the other ones, like the smaller ones. I mean, you could play the smaller ones, like Riot and Mara and all that. They're worth a look, but I mean, these are going to be coming off of the bottom, right? Like, there's more exciting ones. So again, I don't know what you guys are like, how aggressive you want to be in this mania that we're experiencing right now, but there's a lot to work with. That's Riot. Let's look at Mara, right? Lots of stocks. And I'll even plug it into the expensive indicator that we have, right? So people are looking at this too, but I'm not really looking at this. What I'm looking at is like just monkey see, monkey do. I really want to see a big player already revealing itself on the charts. They're in the market according to the charts, and it's moving higher, right? So again, the best ones are the ones that we just talked about. Now, other angles, right? Let's go back. Let's go back and just look at the top view real quick. So what do we know this week? Last week going to the markets, I gave a yellow light because I just didn't know what would the results of the election would cause or do to the marketplace. But after the fact, we got our answer now, and so markets basically shot up. You look at the S&P 500 right here; it held really beautifully right there on the 50-day moving average, and post results, gap up, and it just shot away. So this is one of the biggest moves I've seen in a while. And I want to show you guys that it's just not the USA markets, but we want to look around the world and see if consensus is there as well. So this is S&P 500 all-time highs. Yet again, we're moving towards that $600 mark right there. S&P 500 moving over to QQQ over here. There's a FinViz Club banner. Yeah, so that's that pops up for people who are on the free side. Looking at QQQ over here, right? I also like this one, right? All-time highs above 500. This thing just shot up, looking very good. Going over to Dow Jones real quick. Again, I'm just showing you guys the top level. We're gonna go over to Asia. We're gonna go to EMEA, see how those markets are looking like. So Dow Jones right here, right? Also pop up, 50-day moving average, pop up, very high. Then IWM right here. This one, man, look at this one right here. Small caps. It's just the everything rally right now. So this is also looking fantastic. But again, this is actually not all-time highs, right? We actually, hold on. We zoom out right here. It's almost at all-time highs. So again, all indices, all American indices pointing higher. So now I want to switch over and go over to the international markets and see how they respond. So first one, let's look at the Japanese markets right here, or Asian markets. Not too much yet. I mean, no response, but it's not at a low. I mean, it's still holding a high to me. So I still like that. It's still holding the 200-day moving average on the Nikkei right here. So to me, that's still okay, right? Could anticipate this one to move up higher. I should learn to read. Yeah, that's something. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Like the banner is right there and the information is right there. But anyways, that's Nikkei right there, folks. Holding on to a 200-day moving average. That's really just all I'm watching, right? I'm trying to just see if other markets are like, again, like the way I see it is like I want to see not just American capital being deployed, but I want to see Asian and also European capital being deployed. And if those Asian and European markets or investors get really aggressive, fantastic. That'd be great. So right now, not so much here, right? Below the 200-day moving average on the Euro Stoxx 50, but who knows? It might change next week, and we might get a big rally in the European markets as well. Now, on the beautiful side, I would say the VIX below 15 or just about at 15 right here. So this is looking pretty fantastic, right? We're at 1550. If you guys recall my this is probably why. That's why. Okay, if you recall my analysis right here, so ideally VIX below 15 would be really good for the marketplace. We basically are just almost there. So it looks like a very much a green light going into next week, right? Very exciting. What other components do I want to just mention real quick? We look at the bond markets, look at the gold markets. Bond market wise, I mean, for the most part, majority of bonds have just kind of been on a downtrend, which is suggestive, like not suggestive, but mechanically rates are moving up a little bit. But I'm not seeing that interfering with markets right now. I think markets right now are just hitting so much of a narrative and hype, and so I expect again just higher markets overall right now. Right, this is the initial burst, momentum burst, and just we got to keep going, got to keep watching. Real quick, let's look at the dollar. Show you guys some of the macro components right here. Looking at dollar real quick. We see the USD right here. This one is above the 200-day moving average, right? So I know the dollar's been rallying a little bit, but no fear yet across the indices, I would say. So American indices very bullish, crypto very bullish, crypto overall moving to new highs. That means every segment of crypto is going to new highs. So like the layer one crypto, so like Solana, well, Ethereum, Solana, Near, Avalanche, Sui, all those, they're probably moving up right now. You could actually scan them and look. All the layer twos, threes, fours, whatever, all the meme coins, everything. I mean, you got the entire like collective crypto index moving higher. So going into next week, we know our plays, right? I think coin and MicroStrategy are going to be high attention plays next week. You could try to speculate on like near-term options, but for my style, I like to swing them. So I'm looking at those March 2025 contracts over there. I'll pay more for it because you just sit around and collect on the appreciation. John says, do you ever use the 1 month, 3 month VIX ratio as a macro indicator? No, I don't. I mean, back then when I was like learning about trading volatility as an asset class, there was like a lot of like advanced like volatility indicators like VIX Central. I don't know if you ever seen VIX Central, but you basically look at the VIX term structure. So let me see. I haven't been to that website in a long time. So VIXCentral.com right here. But basically, like, based off of the VIX curve, whether it's in backwardation or contango, you could kind of forecast like the direction of the VIX, right? So, yeah, I mean, like, this is what you're talking about right here, the ratio of like the 1 month VIX to the 3 month VIX. I used to look at it, but these days, I think like after the pandemic or after there used to be a famous ETN, right, which was called XIV, which was like VIX backwards. and that thing collapsed. And then like after that VIX or volatility product collapse, the markets were, or the VIX market, the volatility markets were really never the same, right? The instrument didn't really work. And so nowadays, since the pandemic, everybody's raging over like zero DTE options and stuff like that. So it's changed a lot, I would say. Like back then we used to have triple leverage instruments. Nowadays we only have like 2x leverage. So like, if we talk about trade ideas and stuff like that, you can look at things like, Con L over here, CONL, and what you see right here is you got Coinbase 2x leverage. So again, back, once upon a time we used to have 3x leverage. So it's just it's very fascinating to see the evolution of the markets. And like the different like financially engineered products that we introduced to the marketplace. But John, like, yeah, I used to look at that, but these days I don't look at that anymore. Jimin says, feel like zero DTE destroyed the VIX. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, even before that, right? I think like the VIX was already kind of destroyed, like even before, like I guess like zero DTE got hyped up in like 2020. I don't know. I'm forgetting my financial history over here, which is I should slap my hand for that. But anyways, let's look around. Let's navigate around. There's a lot of stuff going on, right? I mean, I'm very interested in the fangs. Like, if you ask me, like some of the aggressive bets that I'm trying to place right here, because people aren't really looking at, is okay. We have American indices going to all-time highs, and what I know typically is that the largest players, they need, a whale needs an ocean to swim in, right? And so obviously I'm thinking about ticker symbols like the Magnificent Sevens. So like Apple, Facebook, those haven't really moved, right? I anticipate those to break out in the next couple of days. So I actually anticipate big moves on these. Just because, like, again, the indices are rallying. These are just blue chips that have to rally, and it's just where the biggest players on the planet can, that's their biggest ocean, to swim around, right? So we could look into some of these cap tables, look at the public ownership, and see if any changes. But there are a lot of plays going into next week, a lot of higher rally anticipations. Jimin says if when they release zero DTE for every other ticker, that's going to be very chaotic, 100%. Um, yeah, I mean, man, it's interesting, like just like watching the markets evolve, right? I mean, the hottest segment, like this cycle of crypto, right? It's different from the last cycle of crypto. The last cycle in crypto, the nearest one was during the pandemic, and that was like promoted. That was driven like basically after the Wall Street bets situation with GameStop, right? After GameStop, then it was like crypto, and crypto rallied like crazy. Elon Musk went on, was it SNL or whatever, and talked about Doge, and that was like really the initial run of like meme coins, or the start of meme coins. And around that time, we also had the introduction of like crypto NFTs, crypto games, crypto infrastructure, all that other stuff. And then what happened? What happened? I mean, that was the biggest cycle right there. And then now, fast forward 4 years later, the hottest segment in crypto right now, you can look at the reports, like the quarterly reports that some of the big centralized, not centralized, but the big, what do you call them, like CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, they release reports. The biggest segment right now in crypto, or popularity wise, is meme coins. Right? I'm not surprised. I think that's just like the initial like consumer onboarding angle. What do you mean by, what do you think about Nvidia? This breakout looks like it's just beginning. So for Nvidia, so for semiconductors, I like. What I do is I zoom out a little bit, right, and look at the proxy. So what I'll pull up is something like an SMH. SMH would be like it's a semiconductor ETF by Van Eck. So it's a proxy, and I could undo this picture real quick. I don't know if you can see this, but if you take a look at this right here, so this is what I'm looking at right here for semiconductors. Again, I use this as a proxy. So the semiconductor ETF shows what's happening to all other semiconductors, and so I do like this break of the trend line right here. Again, I like to let the robot or the machine automatically draw my trend lines. So this is a break of the trend line right there. I love that movement out of that portion right there, because that's like the initial reversal right there, and then let the volume come in. So I think I think with the collective American indices moving to new highs, with some of the fangs moving into highs, like Netflix and Google. Well, Google gapped up. Amazon moving to highs. Microsoft has to catch up, et cetera, et cetera. I think big capital has yet to be deployed into the Magnificent Sevens or the fangs. And so, yeah, I like the semiconductor space right now. I mean, it's not just Nvidia; it's also like the other big players like AVGO. So lots of semis, lots and lots of buyers coming into semis, right? So look, this is AVGO right here, right? So we got to do a weekly report. Last week we were looking at the 50-day moving average, and then the announcement, and now we're back at multi top highs right here. So we probably get a, I mean, according to the FinViz algorithm right here, it says double top, right, or triple top, or whatever you want to call it. But I anticipate this one to go higher this week. Since the semis are doing well. Now, that's why, I like again, I like it when a big player comes in. And so a big player coming in with a fresh ticker symbol like Astera Labs right here, I definitely think these could run, right? Especially all the recent fresh tickers, by the way. The fresh tickers being like Astera Labs, Reddit, Rubrik, they're all pushing up high. So pulling up Reddit right here. Right, you also see Reddit. So Reddit, we've been talking about this narrative, right, guys? Narrative in the sense that we go down. There's currently 150 million shares outstanding, but then there's like 300 million monthly active users. So there's actually more users than the amount of like single shares that they all could buy, right? So if every monthly active user that uses Reddit on a monthly basis, if they were to buy one share, well, there wouldn't be enough for everyone, right? So again, 150 million shares outstanding. Shares float is 74 million, even less. And again, I think it's 300 million monthly active users, and a lot of the generative AI stuff are leveraging Reddit to pre-train large language models. So I think it has a fantastic narrative, right? Because if we saw the caliber of like pump that it did to GameStop, well, I always ask myself like, what sort of caliber of pump can it do for like Reddit itself. GameStop was a pump from Wall Street Bets, which was a sub segment of a popular, again, I mean this goes back to like year 2000, chat room pumps. But the chat room pumps have evolved now because a lot of these TikTok influencers or Instagram Reels influencers or YouTube Shorts influencers, they have like AI distribution. So it's I think pumps get bigger and bigger, which is why I think meme coins or meme stocks are here to stay. Right? I think stocks will meme, as they say. So lots of yeah, I love the AVGO setup as well. Lots of I mean, there's also Palo Alto Networks. Palo Alto Networks also looks good. That one's coming up into the highs right here. I did. So this one, Palo Alto Networks did go into all-time highs already. Wait, hold on. Let me zoom out. Yeah, Palo Alto Networks did go into all-time highs already. So I added some weekly calls on that one. Let's see. Let's see how this plays out. All right, there's a lot going on in the marketplace, guys. Everywhere, left and right, things are rallying. But we gotta have a framework of looking at things, and then don't let the excitement. Again, I also think it's like we have to discipline our emotions. So like don't get like overly excited that you forget about your risk management because like at the end of the day I think risk management is like the number one thing, and then the number two or the second thing would be like the setups. So lots of fantastic setups, but yeah. Uh, hey, thanks Jimin for tuning in. Didn't anticipate that or expect that, but good to have you. Anyways, folks, let's see. Back to the show over here. What else are we looking at? There's so much going on. Palantir is up, ServiceNow is up, Instacart is up, Rubrik's up, Starbucks has yet to be up, MicroStrategy is going to be up, Coupon we could look at, Duolingo we could look at, Robinhood. Maybe we should look at Robinhood because think about like all the people who are trying to get into crypto right now. If you look at many of the chat rooms out there, everyone's like, how do I buy Bitcoin? How do I buy Bitcoin? And then they'll say things like, is Robinhood good? Is Coinbase good? So yeah, these are going to be like things that are just going to catch the mainstream news. Anything that catches the mainstream news are basically gonna run. So I anticipate a lot of these plays, right? So what's the problem that we're facing here, guys? Basically, there's so many plays going into next week, but how do you know which one to play, right? Because it's almost like there's a high probability of like whatever you pick next week, there's a good chance that it's going to go up. Just judging from the marketplace. So where do we start, right? Man, you guys got to throw tickers at me, and I'll start going all day long. But let's analyze the fangs. Let's start breaking it down, right? So we did the S&P 500, or we look at the indices already. We know some of the segments like semiconductors are starting to look hot again. We can look at software. Let's look at software real quick before we start breaking down the fangs. So what I like to do for software, WCLD right here, and I remember Barath says that I think he was bag holding this for some time, like around this area right here. But now you finally have the signal right here to basically jump on it. So we also see software stocks performing, but it's still at the early stages, I would say. but this is WCLD. Right now, I could pull up, the stocks that are underlying, like Twilio. Oh, Bill.com's in here. Atlassian, Toast, Twilio. Look at this one. Check out this earnings on Twilio. So I think software stocks are probably going to move. Again, I think all stocks are going to move based off of like what I saw last week. If not, then like next 30 days are pretty bullish, or even going into like Christmas. I think again what we saw should be pretty bullish. Wait, hold on. Let me just check something real quick. Uh, oh, that's interesting. Okay, hold on. There we go. Had a little quick water break. So, anyways, looking at Twilio over here. All right, this one woke up, but check this out. It's been a while. This one again, it looks sexy. I know. It looks sexy when you look at it from this angle, right? Oh boy. Let me do this. Let me refresh. It looks sexy when when a stock is down like 80% plus. I'm not gonna lie. But we know that it's gonna take some time before it really rallies. So look at this, right? Massive volume right there. And there you go. One of the biggest buyers ever for the stock that's in its entire existence as a publicly traded stock. This is the highest volume area, so it had the most activity at this price point right here. So can one speculate and say this is the absolute low? Possibly, possibly, but it's going to take some time for this to make its way up, right? It could be like a whole year before you see like really massive moves, before you see, big acceleration. But if we go zoom into the daily over here, man, just like earnings gap up, volume came in, and this thing just rallies, 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 rallies. Um, green, 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 right? So lots of stocks are moving. Personally, for me, when it gets this extended, I like to sell. Right, I like to take some off the table. I mean, if you analyze it from the earnings, it's up already like 30%. So if you ever catch like a 30, 20, 30, 40%, I don't know, it's just like always practice to sell. That's why I'm a little salty because like Tesla gapped up so much. Like I measured the move, I'm like, yeah, that is a lot. Maybe it could pull back a little bit, but I also want to take this nice gain right here. So I added some recently, but this was a 30% move up right here, right? And then if you were in it sooner, like over here even, or even over here, right? It's already like a 50% move. And I do think it could go higher, but maybe we get a pullback somewhere. So possibility is it could go higher come Monday, but we could also go like something like that. So that's what I'm anticipating on this one. But I think things are bullish, right? Again, we are well above the 200-day moving average right there. Uh, what was I looking at just now? So W Cloud, right? We know software is performing, but let's look at the fangs. Let's start structurally breaking down the markets. So the first thing I'm going to look at is Meta, right? So we had a lot of the fangs or Magnificent Sevens or the indices rallying, but this one didn't rally. So this one I actually anticipate. So I think a big buyer is going to jump into this one. Like there's been no movement, right? But we do have a nice confirmation right here of the 50-day moving average. So if anything, if we're talking about like, not priced in options yet or like a potential big move going into next week, I think this is probably going to be one of them, right? I think maybe a big player might come into this sometime this week or at least sometime in the next 2 weeks. Sometime in the next 2 weeks, or even let's see how many days left we have until the end of this month. I think a big player is going to jump into this one. I think because we did have earnings already, right? We had earnings right here, and it did gap down, but it wasn't like a gap down. So it held support right here. So I think we have confirmation that we held support right here, and I do believe that a big buyer is going to take this one to new highs, right? And it's going to be at that $600 mark. So this one I'm watching very closely because if you just know how the options work, like you know, like you come in here and like you're not paying like a bunch of premium just yet because the crowd excitement hasn't really kicked in yet. So I like this one. I also feel that way about Apple too. I also suspect that a big player might come into Apple sometime in the next 30, 60 days. So Meta right here, right? Nice support off the 50-day moving average. We go over to the next one, Microsoft. Right? We're just analyzing the fangs right now. But again, if you folks have any stocks, let me know because there's a lot of excitement out there. Microsoft right here. So Microsoft, it's been bad, like below the 200-day moving average, but back above it. So that's a nice improvement. So nice improvement back above 420 right here. But still, I very much prefer a more, a higher price point. So this is an automated line right here, right? If we can get price to come back above right here, something like that, that'd be much up here is much more favorable than down here for me. I mean, I love the fact that it's respecting this 200 MA, but for my preference, I like it to be up here. And I like the fact that other market participants, right, monkey see, monkey do, they also see that it's above this line right here. And so eventually, I think this one could behave something like a Tesla, right? So we go back to Tesla right here, and we add the drawing back in, the red line, but we zoom out, right? So you see that? So I know there's a lot of annotation, but kind of similar, right? So this is Tesla, right? I like it above right here. So look at this one. Similar. I like it above over here, right? Because it's telling the rest of the markets. I like it above 440 actually. Excuse me. Yeah, if we get above 440, that would be fantastic. So okay, so that's Microsoft right there. Let's go on to the next one, right? So my like again, what I'm looking for is like collective Fang or Magnificent Seven participation. And when you really get that, then I really am convinced that the big players are coming in. And when the big players are coming in, we're all going to do well, assuming we bet in the direction of the big player. So that's Microsoft. The next one I want to look at is this one right here. So I also anticipate some performance going into this one right here. So Apple right here, right? I'm just looking at like just around the markets and whatever announcement happened. I know a big player has been accumulating this for quite some time now. You see the big volume right there? We could delete some of these lines to make it a little bit cleaner. But, massive volume right here, right? So basically since the beginning of 2024, we talked about this last week. The highest amount of volume has been around this price point right here. So 228. So we know this is a sexy, I guess you could say also a sexy sell area. But as long as we hold above the 50-day moving average, I think there's reason for a big player to come in. So if that's the case, right, I'm anticipating a big move on this one. Again, it's still early, and it still could go below the 50-day moving average, but I don't know, just something about the indices going to all-time highs right now. I also feel like Apple needs to go to all-time highs. Speaking of all-time highs, Nvidia is the biggest company on the planet right now, right? We could look at those, but yeah, that's what I'm seeing right here. So, man, the question is like, so I do have a very aggressive bet. Would you guys like to know my bet? It's like a yes or no question. See if you guys are engaged. I do have a very aggressive bet. Uh, would anyone like to know my aggressive bet? Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. Making sure you guys are awake right there. Cool. 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 So I bet let me pull the options right here. It's a very aggressive one, and I could basically lose it all, right? It's like an all or nothing bet, right? And that bet and this is not recommended at all, okay? It's December 20, and that's about 40 days out. And 40 days out, I expect it to go, and this is out of money, so these are calls right here, so I'm going down. The aggressive bet that I have is right here. So this one right here. These ones right here, right? So 250, 255. So I'm betting that in 40 days, is that 40 days? That's 20 days. How many days we got now? I don't know, like about 40 days. This thing is going to go, uh, so from here to if it hits the strikes, about 10 to 12%. That's what I'm betting right there. That's an aggressive bet, right? So I'm betting ahead of times. I know it's better when it's monkey see, monkey do when you see the big player coming in. Obviously, there's no, I know there's a big player lurking around this price area. That's a fact, right? I can see that. But what I'm forecasting is the next big player coming in, and so I'm risking like all or nothing on this bet right here, on these calls right here. So they're like 50 cents or $50 a contract, right? But if I get it right, this thing could be like let's just say, I don't know, 1,000 could turn into 10,000. Would that be right? Or 1,000 turns into 5,000, 5x, 5 to 10x. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if that big player comes in or not. But that's a sample of an aggressive bet. Now, if you ask me, if you're not aggressive, I wouldn't recommend aggressive bets like that. What I would prefer if like you're starting off, then I would look out like a while out, right? So I'll look at like April or March right here. Like get it about 6 months for the newcomer. So if you go March over here, these March contracts right here, and I'd probably go at the money, so somewhere right here. So I buy these right here, and these are only like $1,675 per contract. That's not bad. So I would actually buy these and I would just hold these for like 3 months. And I anticipate that player to come in. But what I'm doing instead is that I'm trying to time like when that player is coming in. So I definitely think a big player is coming in, right? Evidence of it is basically, I mean, this volume that I see right here, right? I see there's a good amount of activity right here. Now, it's also saying that a big player has been selling at this price point as well. So yes, I understand that. But the other key thing that I'm looking at is it's above the 50-day moving average. Lots of volume right here, basically at this price point of 230, right? And I need to see it above that. If not, then I probably shave that position. And this is the all-time highest amount of volume in 2024. So the biggest amount of volume happened at this price point right here, right at this year. So lots of reasons. And then indices going to new highs. Fangs have yet to catch up. Uh, what else? What else? Yeah, as long as we still have this market momentum, I think there's a probability, but I could be wrong. That's the aggressive bet right there. It's not recommended at all. But if I'm right, it could be very, very interesting. But the easier bets, I think, is like the swing bets, which is like go like 6 months out, 3 6 months out. That's how I think a beginner should play. Uh, at minimum, like I mean, you could do three, but I would say minimum like 6 months, right? Three is kind of stretching it. Like three is like you gotta be right in 30 days about your hunch, right? And then if you do 6 months, like at least you could be right in like 60 days. And then if you do 9 months to 1 year, like yeah, like you got like 3 months to be right. You got a whole quarter to be right. So that's what I would do. I'm trying to remember like how did I do it my first ever trade on Amazon? I think I bought like 6 months. That was my first ever trade. They're like 6 months mini options at the time, because Amazon was like too overly priced from a nominal price point. But yeah. So this is anyways, that's Apple right there. And what do you guys think? You guys think a big player will come in the next 30 days? Because I'm betting in the next 40 days. Next 40 days, about approximately 40 days, that a big player is going to come in, and this is it's going to drive this thing up 10%. So that's the bet essentially. I don't know if it's going to go through, but we'll just have to see. Let's go on to the next one. Apple, Amazon. Let's take a look at Amazon, right? Because this is the top shelf where basically, the fat money will show up to. So we look at Amazon right here. You got the fat money coming in already, above 200 right there. My gosh, like I was trying it over here. I remember that 200, and then now look at that 200 acceleration. So we broke out right there, right? $200 breakout. Zoom out to the weekly. Let's see what it looks like, and then the monthly. Amazon all-time highs, right? So Nvidia, biggest company ever. Amazon, all-time highs. Tesla's just starting. We didn't look at Google yet. Uh, uh, Microsoft, if I mentioned that one already, that one needs work. Meta, it's been quiet. So Meta and Amazon, sorry, Meta and Apple are what I'm going to be eyeing in the next 30 days for a big player to come in. Because that big player drives the prices up. That's what we want, right? Or at least that's what I want. Um, but yeah, it's a cheap shot technique. But that's how like these guys are doing it. So big player comes in. We could also follow up on Barof's last week because he was like really eyeing SMCI. Let's take a look at SMCI real quick, just as like a lesson, right? So SMCI 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, you can say it's kind of lower, but it had earnings as well. I wasn't tracking that, but this is SMCI, right? We want to stay away from these. That's the lesson right there, and we want to focus on ones that are performing right now, right now to the monkey that could see it performing right now. It has to be visualized, visible on the screen. It's just think about it. It monkey see, monkey do. And this game it's a global game, right? It's such a large game that other players, you can't assume that they're just as smart as you. Like you might have all the right information that you research or even insider information or whatever. Like you might have all the information knowing that this stock is going to go to the moon, but it just doesn't work that way. That information is not in the other brains that are also deploying capital. So the only way when you know that information is in the brains of the participants or the other players is when the other players flex it on the screen. So that's why monkey see, monkey do is very valuable, and I wish I learned that sooner. Because if it's not monkey see, monkey do, it's like monkey think, monkey do, right? Because like you're like what you think emotionally or irrationally, or what you think rationally, and then you're doing it on what you think, but that's not how the game works. The game is monkey see, monkey do, not monkey thinks and then monkey do, I guess. Um, is that a helpful lesson? I think that's a super helpful lesson. At least that's like one of my finest like my it's kind of wacky. It was like one of my finest mantras. It's like, hey Kay, what's one of your best mantras ever? Well, monkey see, monkey do. I actually try to buy like a coffee table, uh, with a monkey. It was a monkey coffee table. But then I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't. I'm not, not that not preaching it that hard, but um, anyways, let's keep going. Let's keep up with the education over here. So we looked at Amazon and we saw that it's at all-time highs right here. What do you guys think? You guys think inflation is coming or what? This is Amazon at all-time highs right here, and it could go a lot higher, right? So I anticipate. I don't know. I mean, it's wild now, right? It's wild that this is a $2 trillion company, and I'm bringing back the moments that we had back at the Cupertino office when I said, "Hey guys, look." When we were in the Cupertino office, hey, look, Apple's the first $1 trillion company. And then not long after, $2 trillion. Then not long after, $3 trillion. And if we go into the screener today and we look at, the area that surrounds Silicon Valley, right? Look at this. This is just insane. The biggest company right now is Nvidia. Nvidia at 3.59, almost $3.6 trillion. Isn't that insane? That's what happened recently. Nvidia became the biggest company on the planet. So Bernard says, I think people will think things will start to be more stable, so people will spend more. Strong companies get stronger. Apple, Walmart, Amazon. Exactly. Exactly. And as they should get stronger, because any large entity like this, I mean, look, I guess we're essentially consuming graphics on a screen over here, powered by NVIDIA. Uh, you could say, or every gamer on the planet is consuming Nvidia, but that's not their biggest model, their business model. Their biggest business model is like bringing graphics to the data center. So that's the biggest computer of all, right? The biggest use case of all. And this speaks right here. This speaks about, what market participants think. If we were to monkey see, monkey do this chart right here, what is the participant saying? Basically the participants who are buying it at a $3.6 trillion valuation know something that we don't know. They're smarter than us. So if they're buying at this valuation, they see that the consumers are going to be consuming a lot more AI related stuff. So everything related to like autonomous vehicles or autonomous robots that roam our homes to I don't know, intelligent home products or intelligent fridges or autonomous vehicles would be like Waymo and Tesla, whatever, right? There's a big like I definitely think with large language models like ChatGPT being like the brain, the Gen AI brain, I definitely think there is what do you call it? There is enough technology intelligence now from large language models like ChatGPT for every consumer on the planet to who they on the planet would love to have like a robotic device or whatever electronic device in their house that they could talk to. I mean, if you pay for ChatGPT, there's a functionality where you could just talk to it. And I found myself on one Friday night, like 2, 3 weeks ago, I was talking to ChatGPT for like 30 minutes. Isn't that wild? On a Friday night. And I was like, yeah, I got nothing really planned tonight. I'll just play with ChatGPT. And I talked to it for 30 minutes. And I was like, and it's insane because like you could interrupt it. Like a lot of times when you ask a computer, like it just has to like output everything that you ask. But in this case, like if you interrupt it, it'll stop. And it was just like, oh, I can see where this is going. So in order for that to become real, right, we need to think about what players have the infrastructure. So NVIDIA is putting out the graphics infrastructure into the data centers. I think Apple has significant infrastructure as well, right? With the the phones and everything. Bernard probably bought a new iPhone, sounded like from a couple weeks ago. So I definitely think a big player is coming to Apple, but it's much safer when you see it on the screen than me for anticipating it now. I might slap my hand. LL, two iPhones, he said. Oh wow, he bought two iPhones. Yeah, and like Christmas is around the corner, right? So, anyways, Nvidia, biggest company on the planet. Yet another gigantic company right in Silicon Valley, right? Talk about Silicon Valley real estate. It's just going to go to the moon. Reason being is that, again, it's the company that it's the corporation surrounding the land that hires the human capital and also powers the human capital to basically borrow money. And the macro components, like interest rates, determine the human capital's ability to borrow more or less money, which basically bids up the home prices. So if you ask me, like you just gotta lock into real estate in Silicon Valley somehow, it's just gonna keep going higher. It's gonna keep going higher because, well, the justification is like, hey, I live next to Nvidia. It's the biggest company on the planet now. So Santa Clara real estate, I wouldn't be surprised if that thing goes into like Cupertino territory one day. Um, Cupertino price levels. Because again, this is the leading indicator right here, right? Every dollar amount that Nvidia goes up, it powers the human capital to borrow more, to spend more. It enhances their, and we're talking about, a human capital base of about 29,000 employees right here. So this is like the land of the corporations, and also like the data gravity and hardware, you know, like epicenter of the world, which is kind of cool, you know? Like, is it cool to know that like we like Nvidia, if you live nearby Nvidia, or we're all, I mean, most of us here are in Silicon Valley, right? So if we're right by Nvidia, it's kind of cool to say like you live next to the straits of AI, the global strait of AI. Like like Singapore, they call it like Straits Time, which is like I forgot what they call it. Like it's just like where major oil transactions traffic has to go through, right? The Singaporean Straits. In this case, if you think about it from an oil perspective or like hardware perspective, Nvidia is like the global AI bridge straits of the world. Okay, a global. That's big. So it's crazy. It's crazy that we're right by it. But hey, prices want to go higher now. I can't believe I'm saying this, right? The last time prices have gone this high was the last time Trump was president, right? Was that right? I'm trying. I'm also trying to remember. But anyways, Nvidia. Let's go on to the next one. Apple, Amazon. We looked at Google. Let's look at that one. So Google also making a comeback, right? Again, I'm watching these fangs because the more the fangs rally, the more I think there's a high probability of a big player likely to jump into Apple and also Facebook. So Google right here, look at that volume right there. So similar to Apple, right? Look at the volume right here. See that? See that volume right there. So we know potentially there was someone accumulating here, and at the same time, right? That was also respecting the 200-day moving average, which is the pink line right here. So look at that. Look at that level of respect right there. That's one right there. And that's another one right there, right? And then look at it. Oh my gosh, look at this recently. Recently it came back. It pulled back to the 100-day moving average. So what I look at works. Is how the institutions are looking at this. Bernard says it's the NVIDIA employees. Most are young millionaires. That means more able to buy a house. Don't sell anything. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's wild, right? That's why here in Silicon Valley we gotta like work like extra hard. If not, like you get priced out pretty quickly. It's insane, but it is what it is. I like Google going to next week. Right? I like Google over 180. Over 180, this thing could pop. Uh, Bernard says invest in a Lambo dealer or become a Lamborghini dealer or broker. You could make some good connections there as well. But man, I don't know. Like, I'd love to get your guys' opinion from time to time. Like how do you guys feeling about all this quick innovation and not just quick innovation, but like quick inflation, right? Now it's like double whammy in Silicon Valley. It's like quick inflation plus quick innovation, and that's just like you and there's a chasm, right? There's a chasm of players who are moving extremely fast, and then if you're not part of that the other side of the chasm, then you're just like falling behind really fast now, which is insane. And talk about like wealth inequality. Now there's like technology inequality, where you have like really trained up like millennials and Gen Zs who really know technology more than like prior generations, just because just the nature of their upbringing and the technologies that they're exposed to. Like who knows? Like maybe one day I'll have kids and my kids will be talking to like large language model brains like ChatGPT, because now with technologies like ChatGPT, the next iteration of it is to plug that brain into every physical device that roams our land or our home or our cars or whatever. That's like the next big cycle here. That's why you see Nvidia going higher, right? Because Nvidia is doing a lot of the number crunching with the compute, the graphics compute on the back end. I mean, they have something called the Omniverse that we talked about last week, right? Which is like they're training robots like 1,000 times over in the Omniverse before they deploy it into real life production. Very fascinating. Some comments here. Bernard says, "Will Trump policies favor U.S. oil companies?" I'm betting on that. Well, let's take a look at energy. Yeah, I love to see what the big players think, because when whatever happens live in the world, the prices are the immediate reflections of opinion. So let's take a look at that. Let's go into the energy over here. I was taking a moment to find energy, but we look at crude oil over here, and we see that there is no response over here. So I think it seems like the crude oil market again. There's no activity, Bernard. Like I mean, at the very least, right? What I'm looking for is like just a big move to the upside or downside to give me an opinion on what the markets think. Like maybe if we had something like this right here, like okay, that's too aggressive. Maybe something like that. Okay, like that would tell me something. But in this case, we got nothing. So it doesn't seem like there's an opinion in the marketplace. Okay, well that's the raw commodity, the futures contract on oil. Let's actually go and look at, like maybe like ExxonMobil or something like that, right? Let's look at some of the big integrated oil players and see if that has done anything, like Chevron and stuff. So let's take a look at this. So this one has post earnings right here, had earnings. So choppy around the 50-day moving average right there, but it's sort of coming up. All right, let's zoom out. Let's zoom out to get another perspective. Zooming out looks a lot better, right? Zooming out, we can see like accumulation happening over here, right? There's a lot of accumulation over here, so okay, it looks good zooming out, right? But it looks like it needs time. It's just saying not right now. Let's look at Chevron, CVX. Drill baby drill should bring oil prices down. Drill baby drill should bring oil prices down. I'm trying to think about what that is. Let's see. Bernard says, I predict oil profits will soar. We could look into that. I mean, okay, let's see. Let's see. We're gonna take a few looks at this. Okay, so this is Chevron right here, and if you guys recall, we zoom out, we know that Chevron's doing a $75 billion buyback, right? So the question is like, how low can this go? So for now, also not really showing much activity, but they are buying around here. So this one's gonna be a very like you have to. I mean, if you're trading options, Bernard, like you gotta know like the time frame of like, hey, when's this play gonna play out? So I would say this is gonna take a while, right? Like it's gonna stretch until like maybe like mid next year. Mid next year is probably when we're gonna see a big oil play, but maybe I don't know. It could happen sooner in the next 3 months, but not right now. Not right now. Right now it's crypto. Excuse me. Right now is where. Oh, excuse me again. Sorry, the coffee's acting up. Right now is crypto. Like I'm just coming back to this. Like we're still up 4.34% today. Ooh, yeah, very exciting. But yeah, that's where the attention's at right now. And the attention, the capital flows, it moves around. So, so that's oil. So let's also look at another one, oil exploration. I forgot my tickers now. Uh, did I spell exploration? Explore oil. Ah, hold on. Let's see. I know there is an oil ETF, but I can't remember. It's not OIH. Oh my gosh, what was the oil exploration? Let's do explore. No. Oh, I spelled wrong. Exploration. Space exploration? No, that's not the one I'm looking at. XOP, there we go. How could I forget? Here we go. Okay, so here's a proxy right here for oil and gas exploration and production, right? So this is a nice macro view into the segment right here, Bernard. So, ooh, what do we see right here? I like this. I like something like this, right? This is the start right here. So I like what I see right here. So this is start. Now, hold on. I also noticed it needs to get above the 200-day moving average. So I need it up here. I need it to be where this is at to like it even more, right? In other words, like maybe there's a bottom here, but again, I don't fully actually now that I think about it, I don't fully like it yet, but I need more, participants to prove to me that they're trying to bring it higher. So not yet, not yet for oil. I don't think that's time. I think you'll have a lot easier time right now in the following segments, which would be crypto, tech related, right? Crypto, FANGs or Magnificent Seven, and tech related, and semiconductors. And within tech, it's semiconductors and then probably software. Actually, maybe both. Like software might outperform in the near term here. So those are the segments that I'm looking at, and then also fresh shelf. You guys hear what I said? So what did I say? Crypto, Fangs, Max 7, fresh shelf, hardware, and then software. Five segments right there. Five segments that are likely to outperform in the next 30, 60 days. That's what it looks like. Okay, so XOP. Let's go on to the next one. Uh, we look at Apple, Google, Netflix. Oh, well, we could do Netflix. Google. Am I missing anything? Tesla, Nvidia. Tesla we looked at. I guess we looked at all of them. We already looked at the fangs. Let's go to. Well, I mean, we could look at AMD. Some people were asking about AMD this week, but I mean, semiconductors starting to perform. Let's see. Let's see what AMD looks like because it didn't pop up on my radar, right? So again, it's still stuck in this range right here, this channel range right here. So nothing much. I need it to trade above that green line right there. So that's my rule. That's my line in the sand. That green line is actually where a lot of the volume activity is. That's the liquidity pool. So we can come back to that. That'd be great. But for now, I only like it when it's higher. I don't like it when it's low, right? Because when it's low, it has a tendency to not perform. So like SMCI. AMD, Tesla, Nvidia. We looked at Tesla. We looked at there was one more ticker that's yeah, Netflix. There you go, NFLX. Right after this, we'll look at some of the fresh shelf stuff because those are performing like Reddit, Rubrik, uh, Astera Labs. Is there one more? Instacart. There you go. So Netflix right here. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Look at that. 700. Now we're at 795. Woo, that's crazy. And I think Netflix is going to continue to outperform. Like I said, I think this is going to $1,000, right? So yeah, it's really pushing up there. Uh, okay, let's keep going. Man, it's just wild. This is probably going to be really performing next week, maybe. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's go into the next one. Let's look at the fresh self stuff. Well, there is Oracle as well. Almost forgot about that one. We've been talking about this one. So Oracle been saying this one will perform. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. So also moving higher here, right? We zoom out. Larry Ellison is getting very rich. We zoom out. This is what it looks like. Crazy. It's just a crazy market right now, right? But the thing is, like, don't feel fearful. Like, if you feel fearful, you're gonna miss out like a really good time in the marketplace. I also noted this right here. I like this rounded action right here. It's very rounded, right? That rounded action also had a lot of volume right here. Look at that. So we know, like, you know, yeah, a big player sold off right here, but it was also being absorbed to the other side. So yeah, because every time someone sells, someone has to buy you out, right? If you're trying to sell. So that's Oracle. All right, let's look at the fresh shelf stuff and review those. So this one. All right, let's just take a closer look. What do you guys think? Did we call this one or what? We talked about this one like for weeks and weeks and weeks, for months actually. We were talking about this one for a while. You guys impressed? And I think it could go higher. How high? I don't know. It's up to the decision of the marketplace. But for the time being, I think it's going to go even higher next week. Very strong right now. Earnings gap up, and now moving higher. Man, I always regret selling like that first tranche. So the first tranche I sold, if I recall, this day right here, the second day. Of course, it pulled back, but then like, ooh, like it goes up more. It's like sometimes just hang on, hang on for like. Like instead of like looking at the charts, like just make it a rule like, okay, when a big move like that happens, like I just need to hold on for like 30, 60, 90 days, right? Like only the like after 30 days can I sell. So even for me, I feel like I'm not wiping the plate. I wipe the plate clean when I trade around it, but I'm not wiping the plate clean when it comes to like swing trading. So it helps to put in the time like this that we're doing to review a trade, and just like I guess you could say prep talk ourselves to how we could have done better, right? I did good on this, but I feel like I could have done a lot better, like a lot better. But hey, this one on pullbacks right here. We pull back to 130, 120, or even like 125. I like it at 125, but this one's gonna be a toughie for a lot of folks because it's just you don't know how high it could go, right? But we've been talking about this one. Rubrik. Let's pull up another fresh IPO over here, fresh shelf over here. So, Rubrik. This is what I'm seeing, right? You see it clear the range, and it's been moving up ever since. So very nice play, and it's been, I would say, I mean, it's been up, but it's kind of quiet. So I anticipate this one to go higher as well. So if you guys don't know, Rubrik is Gartner leader enterprise software data security segment, right? Cybersecurity company. Enterprise software, we go down here, we can check the valuations, the multiples and stuff like that. We see 8 billion, multiple 11 times, not profitable as most software companies, but we know it's 11 times right here. And then it's about 600 million in sales. But I hear great things about this company. So margin wise, 74% gross margin, but no profit, no operating margin. That's expected for such a, for a relatively young company in the marketplace here. So that one continues to look fantastic. The other one that I want to look at, Cart or Astera Labs. So A Lab. So I mean, I added these last week right here. So I think this one's going to perform. Uh, and these are really great plays. So this one's probably going to perform. I added it last week on the earnings gap up. So let's see. If it doesn't, then just stop out, right? Be disciplined enough to stop. I think that's really it right there. Like if we could just discipline ourselves, not like the trade anymore, we can get out. Now, speaking of that, I also caught this one right here. I'm still holding on to this one. Did you guys see this one? This is like one of the biggest gainers of the week. Crazy, right? I had this one in Affirm. Affirm I ended up cutting, but I actually might get back into Affirm. So they're both in the same segment, like last mile credit borrowing, uh, credit or credit card loans or loans right here. So I stopped out of this one. I just didn't like the behavior, but I might revisit. But this one, so I had both of these, right? I had both of these for were they March 2025s? This was like a passive holding. I also had FTNT, which you guys should also see over here, FTNT. Uh, this one as well. So these are also because I had a lot of swings, and these were all swings right here, and these swings really perform. So this is FTNT right here. Look at that. Whew, really good. But Upstart right here. What do you guys think? You guys think this one goes higher or lower? I kind of gave my answer already, but you guys think this one goes higher or lower? What do you guys think? Or is it too high? Yeah, John says higher. Yeah, I think so too. So I'm still holding on. Uh, Still holding on, and I'm thinking about, you know, maybe adding more on a pullback. I don't know. We'll have to see. Monkey see, monkey do, right? But this one's fantastic. Now, Affirm, I thought Affirm would really be the one that'll outperform, but maybe this one just needs more time. All right, we're looking at the monthly right here. Nice rounded bottom action right there. I like that. Too much annotation right here, but let me do this and then let me refresh and show you the annotation I'm looking at. So this one's an interesting like setup, I would say. So look at this. Oh my, look at that roundedness right there. And then it comes up, and then the sharp handle right here. You say that's a cup and handle, right? And we could draw the top of the cup, then we could draw some steam on here. So you got yourself what they call a cup and handle, a cup and sharp handle. Be careful, that handle might cut you. But yeah, that's a nice cup and handle right there, I would say. Just give it time. This one's a definite watch. Like I would say, I hope you folks don't miss out on this one because if this one launches out, right, shoots out, it could quickly run up to like $100. So maybe I should just get back into my leaps. All right, so yeah, maybe I should. Stupid. I got stop out. Now that I think about it, I should just held on to it. It's okay. I mean, it's like I didn't lose money or I didn't lose much. It was just a little paper cut, but I think I might want to get back into this one. It's looking very good. Just give it time. So that's the firm right there, right? Nice cup and sharp handle. There was one more. Oh, Cart. We didn't look at Cart yet. Cart and A Labs. So revisiting this one, right? This one's Instacart. This one was mentioned in the weekly reports. What do we see? What can we learn about this in every single lesson, right? Let's zoom out to like right here. Again, this is the practice that I'd like to do every week. See a lot of volume right there and a lot of volume right here. So what's it saying? If anyone wants to try and interpret this, it's basically saying within the boundaries of this chart, which is from November all the way back to October for when it IPO and it gapped down right here, right? It's saying that this area right here is the largest amount of activity in the entire existence since IPO. So even when it was down here, there wasn't as much volume as there was up here. So it's telling me that there's way more interest at this price range around 35 than when it was at 24. What does that mean? There's way more people interested at buying at 35 than they were at 25 when it was lower. All right, it's telling me that the markets are bullish. So now that it's moving higher, it's giving confirmation that it's very bullish. So prior resistance right here, right, became support as well. So resistance right there, later became support right here. Very nice, very nice. It kind of just like it showed you the way right there. So earnings coming up. That's something you gotta be careful, right? November 12th, that is actually in 2 days. So maybe I want to play this one too. Hold on, let's check the valuation real quick. So this is Instacart. Valuation wise, oh wow, up in the billions. Wow, they're doing a lot. 74% gross margin for a software business. Wow. No debt. 3,000 employees, 12 billion valuation. Price of sales 3.5, 3.75. No debt. I already said that. This actually looks pretty interesting. Hold on. Shall we do a deeper dive into this? I think we should. Let's do Cart S1. Instacart S1. This actually looks pretty good. Like it's like decently valued from a relative market valuation standpoint. Let's do both of these. I don't know which one. It looks decently valued. And let's see. Let's see the shareholders real quick. Let's see the principal shareholders. See who were the players that were involved. Oh, this one's not it. It's probably Form S1. Don't tell me it goes to the same one. Okay, this might be a more recent one. Perfect. So we go in here, we go into principal. I want to just see real quick who the players involved, if it's still founder led, stuff like that. Come on. Come on. It's not loading for me. In the meantime, while that loads, we could pull it into our handy dandy $8,000 indicator over here. Pull up cart right here. And we see that, oh, you got a buy signal. You got a recent buy signal right there on cart. I mean, I've been liking this one. Like, I mean, like you had a buy signal all the way back here, right? Now you have another buy signal right here. So this is looking fantastic. But earnings is coming up. Okay, here we go. Principal shareholders, we go down. There we go. Ooh, look at this. So let me zoom in for you guys. Let's uncover the dirt over here. Oh my gosh, I'm lagging. Oh no, sorry, my mouse is lagging. Oh, give me 1 second. Technical difficulties. You guys hear me okay? I think it's just, there we go. All right. You guys hear me okay, right? Just double checking my mic over here. How's my connection? I just had a pop up saying my connection is kind of poor. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank you. I lost my place here. I think it's this document. It's like heavy. Yeah, it's like a very heavy document. Just give me a little bit of lag right here. Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties. Uh, Jeez. Huh. Oh man. Maybe I should just kept it small. Oh, okay, here we go. All right, we're back in action. There we go. Okay, perfect. This is what we got. So Sequoia Capital, 19%. D1 Capital Partners, 14%. All right, I like that. Again, we don't know if they liquidated or not. They could have, right? But also 6 month lockup maybe or 9 months lockup. I don't know. But let's see. This person right here has 11%, and then this is probably, let me see, 16 is Sequoia Capital, and 11 right here is consist of this person right here, trustee. I think that is the I actually don't know who the founders are. Chairperson, including as chairperson Emily Par. Okay, so all executives, all okay, yeah. Ravi, okay, that guy. That's no, that's not. That's something else. Let me see. Let me see. Whoa, this guy's in it too. Huh. The ex-CEO of Snowflake's also in this one too. This is actually pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty good list of like, really high caliber people, I would say. Uh, Things that I definitely like. Let's continue. Let's look at, let me see, executive compensation. So the people would be these right here. So CEO, Simo, and then Nick. Let's go around. Let's go back here. Let's look at it again. Let's see their names. So no, their names are not on here. Wait, no, no, no. What I'm saying, they're right here, right here. So look at that. So the CEOs or the executives, this is how many shares they have, right? So who do you think is the boss here? Ravi Gupta, number 16, is part of Sequoia Capital. Okay. Yeah, so this is the main guy right here, right there. All right, 52 million shares. Man, that's how you know, like, you're like you're in the big leagues right there when you own like 50 million shares of a really top-notch company. I like this. I don't know, guys. I like what I'm looking at. So going back to card over here, right? Actually, I do want to look at the balance sheet, in which we could look at here too, but let's just do the analysis. Go in here. I will go to cap. I always forget about this one. Why? Market industry, prospective summary, risk factors, there's a lot, capitalization. Let's see what the market is here. Our history milestone. Let's see. Hold on. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to quickly understand. I mean, it's pretty straightforward in terms of like its business, but uh, yeah, I always mess up on the financial statements. But let's see, there's a lot of information here. See, I mean, you could get lost in like the analysis all day long. But all right, looks like we got to something here. So results from operations. Let's see, year ended December 2022, so 1.4, 1.8, 2.5, they're definitely growing. This is billions of dollars, by the way. What I want to look at, and I could have done this in the easier way by just looking at recent earnings, but I'm doing it the hard way. I'm just going through like its financial statements right here. Show you guys I do the work. Net income, still net sales and marketing. Sorry, still going here. This is how it is sometimes, by the way. Like, when you're investing alone and you're doing research, like you might just scroll through a document for a long time just to like get some data points and just learn about the company. But obviously, I'm doing a bad job right now. Shows their application. We get to learn more. I'm not trying to learn about an application today, but let's just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Uh, I know I'm basically scrolling the entire doc. Uh, okay, all right, fine. Uh, Consolidated balance sheets right here. Okay, here we go. Consolidated balance sheets. All right, so on top of that, I just want to see the cash levels real quick. 1.5 cash levels as of 2022, right? Or as of 2023 right here, June 30th, 2023. 1.8 billion in cash. So they're pretty capitalized. Total assets 3.7, total liabilities, right? Not that much. And then total shareholders equity, right? Positive as well. Um, Hey, I like what I'm seeing so far. Shares outstanding not really increasing right here. I like the price action. I like earnings coming up. I like the valuation multiplier. I like that there's no debt. I love the fact that, I mean, it's not that many employees, so obviously it has a lot of room for growth. It's showing that it's a very levered business. Levered business should trade at a higher multiple valuation. So with a 3 times price of sales, this is cheap. This is cheap for what it's doing. And this thing could be a double double, right? It would be a $24 billion company. That puts it at $100. This could be $100. So let's go in here. Let's start strategizing what options we're going to buy. Right? So now that you come to conclusion like, hey, yeah, this actually looks pretty good. Let's go in here. What month would you guys buy? Pop quiz, right? You got the March, you got if you're a newbie, let's say for most people, let's say you're a beginner, I'll probably look over here. So June 2025, right? And we go in here and we look at contracts and the lack of volume or lack of, so at the money right here, right? Let me just see if volatility Greeks real quick. There we go. Delta. So these right here. Yep. Usually. So the zero point 0.7 delta is right here. That's what I'm looking at. Let's go here. So right here. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. $1,000 per contract. I'd swing those. That's a trade idea right there. I'd swing those. So $1,000 per contract to own synthetically 100 shares of this company. So 100 shares of this at its current price will cost you $4,700 for 100 shares, right? But you could buy 100 shares for $1,000 instead of 4,700. I'd buy that. I'd buy that like you do $5,000 even, right? And then just swing that. Like it's a sit back and relax, and then once it hits its mark, you get paid. I think it's gonna hit its mark in this current environment. So, but again, this is not investment advice, guys. Like you gotta be careful what you do. But yeah, this is usually my comfort level too. Like I like to buy every contract like $1,000, and then when I'm getting like risky, then each contract could be 100 to even like $50 each, like those Apple calls. But I like those contracts right there, right? What do you guys think? Would you guys agree with this trade idea or bad trade idea? Hey, either or, I'm open to anything. But that's how I would look at it. So every incremental dollar, this thing goes up 70 cents, or it goes up $70 from a dollar perspective, which is really nice. Uh, Going back to cart. So let's say let's go back to cart chart over here. Stock detail. There we go. And there we go. So if I think this thing can go to $100. It's a fresh shelf, okay? So therefore I think it could run just because the nature of it. It's newer. People don't know what to anticipate because there's no historical over here. And that's catching the markets off guard, right? And when you catch the markets off guard, it'll be a surprise in either direction, whatever the surprise is. But I really like this one, guys. Let's go on to the next one. I feel like I'm losing my voice slowly here. Maybe I'm not drinking enough water. Mm. Let's look at Roblox and look at Coupon. What do you think about buying 100 shares and selling cover calls? You could as well. I mean, I just like to do like directional, but it's a it's how do I say it? It's a preference. I like to be fully exposed. Some people like to be hedged. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's up to the individual, really. But I just go directional like 99% of the time. I'm not into like the complex stuff, but there are some guys out there that really do the complex stuff. But I just think maybe it's because like I'm doing like higher amounts of tickers, right? So maybe it adds a layer of complexity to manage like many tickers. But I just really focus on like the momentum stuff, the things that I think are going to explode. So this one I definitely think is going to explode. But again, not investment advice, guys. The other one I was going to look at. Let's look at Roblox, right? Because these are starting to wake up over here. What do you guys think of Roblox? Anyone in Roblox? I got calls on these right here. So zoom out. This is what Roblox looks like. It's waking up. It's just starting to wake up, right? So I got leaps on these. So I don't think it's too late either, right? You might look see that was the zoom out version, but if you look at the daily right here, like some folks might say, oh, it's too late, but I was adding all week last week. So zooming out, this is what I'm seeing, right? This is the IPO right here. IPO, and then this is the current range right here that it's attempting to get out of the range. It pretty much, I guess you could say, it's about to get out of the range. I guess if you measure this top of the range right here, but we go in here, we'll look at options, and again, do like 6 months out, right? So we go in here, we'll look at option pricings, and we'll expand that. And again, this is my style. You guys can figure out your style. Like some people like to do like, hey, I want to expire like next week on the 15th over here. but I'm like over here. So let's do June, right? Be conservative. Swinging and currently, maybe like these right here. So $1,000 right here per contract, right? So I believe I have those. If not, then I probably have the 45s. I don't know which one I have, but I have some of these right here. So I like these. All right, that's the options right there. Let's go back. You guys understand options at this point, right? I could explain to you if you don't understand it. But man, this one is let's look at the fundamentals real quick. So what do we know about this company? Sales has been growing, right? Recent EPS, or let's not do EPS. Sales quarter over quarter have grown about 30%, right? So 30% double digit. Price to sales wise, 10 times. It's a $33 billion company and 2,200 employees. Debt, it does have a lot of debt. Oh my, that's a little too much debt, but it's okay. I mean, I'm seeing the markets are buying it up, so it doesn't matter to me if it does matter. Like it adds like a layer of like risk to know. That's actually quite a bit of debt. But the question is like, are you getting that debt to innovate and perform on revenue, right? And they probably have plans to pay it back. So as far as I know, and it's what I'm hearing on the street, this is a very well, good team that manages the company well. But geez, yeah, that's quite the kicker right there. Let's go in here. Let's look at the cash real quick. Let's go to the balance sheet and let's look at the short-term cash. Let's see. The latest one I got is this one right here. Looks like they got about this would be probably 2 billion in cash right there. So 2 billion in cash, which is fine, right? It's not bad. It's expected for a company of this size. Uh, and yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's see. It might chop around, but it's on my list. Now, when I think of Roblox, I also think of Unity, right? Just like the gaming infrastructure. So let's take a look at this one, see how this one's doing. Yep, this one's still down. So resistance at the 200-day moving average. So what do? I'm not interested. I go on to the next one, right? Because it's looking nasty. I don't want it. Like this looks more like a start to a short trade, but I don't want to short this one. We zoom out. Why am I looking at this one? Because I know this one is, you know, it's a partner with Apple and its gaming infrastructure. It's a leader in its space too, but surprisingly, it's going down. Now, fundamentally, let's take a look real quick. $7 billion company, 6,700 employees, less debt than Roblox. Roblox had way more debt. Margin-wise, 69%, right? Not profitable as they are, and 2 billion in sales is a lot, but shares outstanding. So dilution's probably happening right here. That's probably why the stock isn't really performing, right? That's you're printing against the shareholders. So let's go into the statements. Like why are they printing, right? Let's take a look at the cash. Let's go to the balance sheet right here, and let's go to the cash, and we see that cash. Um, like at one point the cash was like really low, right? 258 million, 129 million, and then boom, 1.7 billion, right? So they had to finance somewhere here in 2020. So 2020, right? It looks like maybe like yeah, they financed or they accumulated debt or they did something to 2020. Oh wait, oh that was before they IPO'd. They IPO'd here. So this IPO. Oh yeah, September 2020. September 2020. Going back down here. Yeah. So wait. Oh, okay. So this was like when they. Yeah. So this 19 was before IPO. I see. So okay, so okay, I get it. So they went IPO and then they got cash. Right. If I'm reading this right, I'm guessing they went IPO and then next thing you know they got cash. So they got like over like 1.5 billion in cash injected. But again, I don't like the behavior of this. Right, it's very the institutional behavior, which is trending down. So not a play right now. Going on to the next one. Next one, Palantir. How about that? Or there's so many guys. There's so many that like I know we won't even cover them all, right? I still got my leaps on Starbucks because the new CEO. I anticipate this one to perform as well. Still hanging on, right? I even held it through earnings right here. Look at that, earnings right there, somewhere right there. So still holding on to this one. We zoom out. Let's see what it looks like. This is what it looks like zooming out, right? So one could say yes, there is a trend resistance line right there. Sure, right? But I like the news, and I think Wall Street likes it too. So just give this one time, right? Lots of volume up here in the last couple months here. right? If we do beginning of the year, since the beginning of the year, right there, 2024 right there, beginning of the year, most of the buyers have came in only recently. They might be losing my voice over here. But or just like I feel something in my throat. Hopefully not COVID. But yeah. So since 2024 right here had its most activity right here. So all the buyers that are buying this year in Starbucks, it's happening right now. So I like this one. We go in here, look at the options real quick. And again, you guys let me know like how risky you want to be, but I prefer far further dated out. We'll go in here, we'll go down to the 6, right? Give it like 6 months. In this case, you're giving like 8 months. If it's 8 months, you can go down to the 4 if you want to be cheaper, but I just do this one, and then I'll probably target something like this right here, or even this one right here, $1,000 per contract, right at the money. That's my style. That's what I like to buy. But if you're the pros, what do you guys think the pros do? Pop quiz. What do you guys think the pros do? The pros, if do you think they buy out of the money, at the money, or in the money? What do you think the pros are buying? Like I'm talking about like the insane like lots of money pros. They're usually buying in the money. They're usually buying like deep in the money. That's where the pros are buying. I know it sounds weird, right? And then like the newbies are usually buying like far out of the money. That's like those odds are never gonna hit. Uh, so the newbies are buying like crazy like probability, but the pros, as far as I know, like the really big like $100 million plus players, they're buying deep in the money. For me, I try to buy in the money at the money. So I usually buy within this range right here. But maybe one day, maybe one day I'll be rocking like deep in the money. But for now, I mean that makes sense because deep in the money basically represents like shares, um, which is fantastic by the way. But that's Starbucks right there. Oh wait. Did we? Yeah, we already talked about Starbucks. So what? Like 6 months out contract. I think those will hit. Um, again, not investment advice, guys. Let's go on to the next one. Coupang, CPNG. This was on the list as well. All right, lots of stocks on the list. Let's see. Let's see. Let's actually, yeah, well, yeah, it's now okay. So it was on the list, but you see that right there below the 50-day moving average, right? That's a cut right there. That's a sign to not anymore, right? It was a play, but now it's like you want to back out. At least I would back out. I would back out and just wait for a better environment, right? Because I like this one because yeah, it's like the try to be cheap stuff right here. It's coming off from low at $1.67 all the way down to $20 over here. So I mean, this one like it has to be like longer. Uh, Baraff says I agree. Once I looked into Nancy Pelosi's trade, she bought deep in the money. Yep, that's what I'm saying, man. Like like the serious whales, they buy deep in the money. Like that's how you know they swim in the deep, essentially. Let's keep on looking at other ones. Atlassian and Now, those kind of go hand to hand for me. Look at ServiceNow right here. This one's awesome, right? This one, all-time highs right now. So I expect this one to go up. Uh, ServiceNow, Palo Alto Networks, Atlassian, those are waking up. Twilio waking up. We talked about earlier. But ServiceNow right here. Let's take a look. Let's go down. This one's 20 times price of sales, right? Not that much, barely any debt. Margin wise, 79% business. Takes home like $80 or $79 for every $100 it sells. What else? I already said no debt, multiple at 20, but pushing higher, right? So multiple expansion happening on this one, and stock is at all-time highs. Options are probably expensive on this one because it's $1,000 ticket. So we go in here, we look at the options real quick, right? Teaching you guys a little bit something new. Oh yeah, we gotta look at Confluent and also Snowflake because I like those too, but I like it more when I know there's a big player coming in. So let's do 6 months out, 6 months or 3 months, depending on how cheap or wealthy you want to be. And then 1,000 right here. Look, so each contract's pretty expensive, right? Each contract is 12,180 per contract. So might not be easy. Let's go over to Confluent. Let's actually look at this one because it's one of my favorite. It's like the only data streaming company that's publicly available. So look, right? Let's zoom out. Let's zoom out. So lots of volume ever right here. So we know the price that anyone's ever accumulated, $22 right there, right? $22 is like, a steal according to those players. And going down to it, before we look at the technicals, let's go to the fundamentals or fundamental metrics. $8 billion company, 2,700 employees, uh, quite a bit of debt, but not too bad, like Roblox. Roblox had 9 times. Price to sales wise, 9 times. Not profitable, sales wise, but then this could be strategically not profitable. So we got to look at the balance sheet. Shares outstanding has been going up. Sales wise, it has been going up, but it should hit $1 billion soon. Gross margin 73%. Sales EPS performance wise, sales performance quarter over quarter is doing about 25%. So double digit growth. I do like it being above the 200-day moving average right here, but let's go into the fundamentals real quick. Look at the balance sheet because it's like it could be hiding value, right? So we want to see total assets. Total assets have been going up, but not aggressively. Total current assets, total liabilities also gone up, but total equity wise, not really. So it hasn't been accumulating value, which is fine. But that would have been like more of a reason for it to be really exciting. So it's decent. It's decent. Um, it's decent. I think it needs some more time. But this is again, if you want to be cheap and buy here, right? Like being cheap, you pay for being cheap. You pay for being cheap with time, which is like and it'll be up and down, and you probably be ripping your hair out because you think it's cheap, but you're actually paying with time. Versus if you pay up, don't be cheap, like Bitcoin right now, you're gonna get paid right now, because you're not being cheap. So that's just the mantra right there. Don't be cheap. So if you want to be cheap, just know that you're going to be going up and down, up and down, up and down. But when prices are really high and everyone's coming in, that's just how the nature of the markets work. So depends on the strategy that you're implementing, right? Which is my strategy is like don't be cheap. Go after the ones that are performing right now because you're gonna see green right away versus like you be cheap, you're gonna be seeing green and red. You're gonna see Christmas for some time. You're gonna see Christmas for like half the year maybe or even more. So yeah, I'd rather buy this one higher. But if you're looking long term and you want to do a 1 year hold, then yeah, here's not a bad spot. I mean, $22 would be the spot right there. That's where the big players are accumulating, but you're going to need a lot of time. So speaking of Confluent, let's look at Snowflake real quick, see how that one's performing. I don't think this one's it's been performing. It's just been kind of like quiet. Yeah, very quiet, right? Nothing here. I'm not interested. Not interested right now. I'll go elsewhere. Just not worth the like. There's so many opportunities right now. It's just not worth the focus. Robinhood, Carvana, man, you guys see App? That one just like this one's amazing. Like it's just been really amazing. Like I thought over here, like I thought this was like damn already, right? But then it goes on to like damn, and then it's like damn, it keeps going. It really just keeps going, right? Like I thought like okay, that's some good performance right there, and then boom, like damn, like it went up even more from 180 all the way up to 290. This was truly impressive. Let's actually look at underlying why. Huh? How about that? Yeah, let's look at Adobe as well. Seems like you like the cheap stuff because Adobe, I recall, wasn't performing. Now that should perform if the rest of the markets perform. But let's look at this one, right? Fundamentally. So what we see? So it's now a $100 billion company, right? Incredible. 3 times, quite a bit of debt. That's okay, not as bad as Roblox. It's very profitable. Wow. 72% and it's taking home money. So this is a very profitable software company. Shares outstanding has not been increasing, which is good to see. And EPS sales quarter wise, about 38% growth, 39%. Fantastic. Um, Multiple wise, 26. So it's coming up into its valuation, right? So this is basically a value play, like it was catching up to its like true market value, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely becoming profitable. I think that's why investors like it. Let's see. Let's go here into the statements and let's look at some of the cash flow or the balance sheet, I mean. And what we see is, let's see. I mean, it's already profitable, right? So total assets looks like that. Total equity, that's interesting, right? Total equity is in a decline over here, but it's not the latest. This is actually 1 year out of the way. I need to get the latest data, but this is actually looking pretty good. Um, hold on, just one second. I got a call from family. Usually family knows what I'm doing right now. Uh, but if it's an emergency, oh, okay, they want to get pho. Ooh, that sounds fun. Okay, sorry. We got about 20 minutes left, and they already got me thinking about food. Let me know if you guys have any other stocks you want to look at, but we're just analyzing app over here. Um, 12:30. Let's do that. Perfect. So, yeah, this one looks. I mean, man, it's hard. It's hard, right, guys? Like when it runs up this much, like for you to like keep chasing. Oh man, it's hard, but sometimes you just gotta do it. I do think this thing will pull back, but it could also go higher. So let's look at Adobe now. Let's go look at some of the bigger ones. So let's see. What do you guys see on Adobe? I got to pop quiz you guys sometime. All right, Adobe buy or sell or do nothing. Buy, sell, or do nothing. What do you guys think? Man, yeah, yeah. Why do nothing though, Evan? Why do you guys think do nothing? At least like this is my by my rules, but you guys might have your rules where like, oh, this is time to do something. But by my rules, it's a do nothing right now. It's a do nothing because it's below the 200-day moving average, and it recently found a support right here. So we do have a support line right there. So that's the area to watch because if that support fails, it could go lower. And it is finding resistance. It failed right here, like big selling on earnings right here, below the 200-day moving average. So what it's telling me right now is that no institution is trying to catch it at the 200-day moving average. So if no institution is trying to catch it, why are we trying to catch it? Right? You need the bigger buyer to buy you up. So like man, like people would probably like dislike folks for playing this style, I'd say. It's like, "Oh, you only want to get in when the big player gets in." But like, why not? Right? Like why do you want to get in? Why do you want to be a hero? I'd rather be a copycat. Like it's like if you want to be a hero, go try hold up the price at 500. Try to get it back up to 500. You won't, right? So we have to read it and see the bigger player that can do it. So the bigger player will come in and start holding it at 500. Then you see 500, 500, 500, 500. It just keeps getting bought up. Like someone's really buying it. But for now, I'm gonna need this one to be back above like 540 for me to be interested, maybe. And I'll be even more interested above 580. But for now, nothing. There's nothing to do here. Maybe a short on weaker market conditions, but um, this one's nothing right here for me. Um, Again, this is based on like, small player rules. PayPal, Carvana, Walmart, Costco. My gosh. You guys see Costco? That was actually one of the plays or like one of the big moves this week as well. Look at this one. This is wild, huh? Costco going higher. Let's look at the fundamentals on Costco real quick. So Costco has no debt or like barely any debt. They have a lot of people working for them, about 300,000 people working for them. It's a $400 billion company, and it's like a consumer staple for all of us, right? I mean, we definitely need our toilet paper. EPS wise, is very profitable. Sales wise, is also making sales. Sales quarter over quarter is growing about, man, just 1%. So not that much growth, but it's a very big entity. And look at this, how hard Costco works is that every $100 it makes, it takes home $12. But of that 12, well, I guess you say it makes 12 bucks net business wise, but what it takes home is like $2.90 for every $100 of work, right? So very, very thin, profit margin business. But at a scale of 254 billion, I mean, wouldn't you like to take home 3% on 254 billion? That 3% is taking home about $7 billion. So that keeps operations happy. It keeps the entity going over here. And what we're seeing is Costco, we zoom out, man, all-time highs probably. Yeah, yeah, I recall. Yep, all-time highs. Wowza. Um, Investors think Costco is valued more. If investors think Costco is valued more, then they think Costco is probably going to outperform. Or if Costco, it's either Costco outperforms in revenue, or the economy becomes more expensive, and that's why investors are buying it up, right? Like it's either you perform on revenue, but like you look at it, right? Like revenue performance is 1%. So it's probably not revenue performance, but they're buying it up because they're getting inflated with dollars, right? Like all their clients are like, "Oh, hey XYZ investor, institutional investor, I need to put more money with you because I'm making more money." So investors are like, "Oh man, we got more money to deploy." And so whatever's happening right here, price is getting pushed up. Well, us humans are, the the self-generating engine of inflation in a way. I feel. So let's look at a balance sheet real quick. Let's see this world-class balance sheet of value. Let's go into the balance sheet right here, and we go down. We see that man, they're flush with cash. They got about as of late 11 billion in cash. 11 billion in cash. Total assets wise, they got about 69, 70 billion in assets. Total liabilities of that 70 billion, they have 46 billion in debt, right? And so total shareholder equity has been going up. So they have been building their value. As a matter of fact, their value has been increasing since 2017. So every year almost, except for 2021, which is probably like the pandemic, right? Every year, for the most part, they've been increasing in value, and we haven't finished 2024 yet. So that last portion right here has yet to, I guess, complete. Well, actually, we won't see that, but yeah, I guess it has yet to complete here. Anyways, yeah. So, man, wild, huh? Wild that stocks like these are going higher, and what it says about the rest of the world. Things are going to get a lot more expensive. So how do we defend ourselves? It's like you either like, get like a high profile paying job, like director and above, or you get, I guess you do sales, like big time sales, um, start a business and be really successful at it by building a really fat network, or and invest like crazy because I mean, the environment's double timing right now. I had a lot of peers call me and they're just like saying like, hey, like they were concerned like, hey, like what do you think about, Trump and this and that? Like and then they're like saying like they're telling me they personally think that things are going to get 2 to 4x harder. Like there was already 2x hard. They think things are going to get double that, so like 4x harder. And I don't know, like when I hear stuff like that, it's just like it's what I talked about like 10 years ago, or like not 10 years ago, like 8 years ago in like the Milpitas Library. Like, well, not really Milpitas Library, maybe like like a year or two after the Milpitas Library, but it's just like this was anticipated, right? During the pandemic with all that money printing. Like the value had to go somewhere. Like we're borrowing to save our system. So look, like it's not good for the governments to accumulate debt. When they accumulate debt and they can't pay it, when they accumulate debt and can't pay it, we pay it, and we pay it with higher prices that surrounds us. So when I look at stocks like Costco here and just see it going up, it's just yeah, it speaks loudly. Let's look at Home Depot real quick, right? Let's see some of these other segments and see how they're performing. Expecting the same. So look at this. I mean, this one, I don't know, earnings hasn't happened yet. So earnings coming up, but it's already pushing up. Nice support right here. Beautiful support right here on the 50-day moving average right there. Let's look at lows. Let's see that. And we could do XHB, look at home builders and stuff like that as well. See what's going on with the rest of the economy. So, yep. Let's do XHB. So this one's also holding the 50 MA. So it could be like a sector thing or industry thing. So let's looking at home builders right here. Okay, home builders, yeah, kind of similar. Let's do XLRE. Check out the real estate sector of our global economy or American USA economy, and we see that, yep, it's kind of coming back to this 50-day moving average right here. What other segments? I mean, we talked a lot here today, but XLK, we can see how did this sector perform this week, or we look at a top performing sector this week and see how things are going to perform next week. So XLK moving up higher, and we could always go into groups and we could look at the week's performance. So look at the week's performance. So the top performer this week was industrials, right? So we go in here and we could dissect industrials, and I would go into overview and I would arrange it down by the biggest cap, and see. Like the most interesting this week was industrials. So let's see, right? Let's see which ones are catching a big bid, but some of these maybe not. All right, this is what the scanning process looks like, and I do this pretty often. And you guys have to practice this, right? Like one is like you need to get a platform, whether free or paid. Get on the platform and just practice scanning like this. Scan with your eyes, and then after like looking at thousands of charts, you get really used to it and you get really confident. And that's what I would encourage everyone to strive for in here. Like in here is really the hours of practice, and this is it right here, right? Every Sunday I get to practice for 2 hours with you guys, and we learn a little bit more. What I actually wanted to do today was to go into this really awesome report on like software, but I think I'm going to push it to next week because markets are just too exciting to not analyze the markets this week. So next week I'm probably going to do a little bit of half and half. We'll see. We'll check up on markets to see how much it performed, which I think is going to perform next week. But we'll also be diving into a new report that was released on software. So there was also an AI report as well. So I don't know. I want to keep the learning going. So those are some of the plans for next week, and I'll mix it up as we move into the future here. But anyways, what else? What else? What else? How shall we close it out today? We got about 8 minutes left, 5 minutes left. Let's look at some crypto. How about that? Right. So looking at the total cap right now, this is where we're at right here. Right. See, I got that alert on all-time highs right there. So we are basically penetrating all-time highs right here. Ethereum wise, right? This is my 200-day moving average right here. So that's Ethereum right there, coming up above the 200-day moving average. Bitcoin specifically, look at Bitcoin, right? We already know Bitcoin at all-time highs right there. So that's looking good. Let's see, Cardano, man, another layer one right here. This one's waking up like crazy, right? So these are some of the layer ones that you might want to pay attention to. Sui, right? Ex-Facebook team, very powerful, potent team. Highly recommend reading into the white paper here if you're, geeky like Evan. Just kidding, Evan. I'm not trying to make fun of you, but I think you like it. So this one is I'm a geek. Yeah. So this one's well, this is not a layer one. I don't know why I got sushi swapped up in here. This should be like down to like DeFi area. That's a decentralized exchange over there. But you got the other layer ones like Solana right here. Solana moving to highs right there. Near I mean, the founder of this one had a meeting with the, what do you call it? The founder was on stage with the NVIDIA CEO, right? Ton, layer one by Telegram, believe it or not. Coin98, I don't know why this one's in here. This one should be like layer two or something like that, or it should be like DeFi. And then this is also DeFi. What the heck? Badly organized on my part, but there is a lot of stuff going on out there, right? There's even like games and everything, so. Yeah, I still need to organize all this, right? But let's look at some of there's also meme coins too. Looking at some of the meme coins in here. There's a lot. There's a lot going on. But yeah, I won't dive into that because I know you guys, it's not for everyone. But we could look at with the 5 minutes left that we have right here. Let's look at the crypto markets. And if you don't have a way to look into the crypto markets, you use CoinMarketCap or whatever, right? This is how you see what's going on right now. And there's just so much action right now. I just say, look at the market cap, right? I know, it's crypto, but I'll tell you this, it's all about where the money's going. And this thing is a $2.69 trillion market right now. So at one point we were at 2.86. So actually we were higher before. So we're not at 2.86 yet. But I would recommend you guys to look at the statistics on the crypto market because those are going to be the biggest plays next week. So 5 minutes left. The biggest plays next week. I'm thinking is this one, this one, and MicroStrategy. The biggest plays next week. Tesla would be nice if it pulls back. I would like a pullback on Tesla, but if it doesn't, that's okay. Uh, Pull back, add more is what I'm thinking. But this one, I think this one's going to be a big runner. This is probably going to be a top performer next week, alongside with this one. Just these two right here, right? Now, several ways you could go about it, right? You could go, and we could pull this into the expensive indicator as well to show you like, what it's seeing. So we go in here, go coin, right? And you can see, I mean, coin had a buy down here, right? So, but then you had earnings that took it down, but then this is event driven. So usually event driven like this, you gotta change your perspective really fast. But this is what the indicator is saying here, right? It's still saying long on coin, but MSTR, let's take a look at that one. And we do IBIT as well. Look at MSTR. The indicator was saying long all this time over here, right? It was saying back when MSTR was at 150, now it's at like 270. And then come Monday, it's probably going to open like over $300, I think, with the way. I mean, I'm really excited for this one because like I'm I'm exposed. So this is probably going to be a really fantastic win right out of the gate on Monday. But you gotta stay disciplined. Don't let the gains get you emotional. And if you made a lot, if you're up something that's like went up 40%, like don't be stupid, right? Follow what Bernard says. It never hurts taking a profit, right? So just take some off the table to lock yourself in to guarantee that you're going to be able to play again and again and again. And that's what it's about, staying in the game in the long run versus like getting knocked out because like you took a fat trade and it went against you and now you're emotionally disabled where you just can't like you can't function when the markets are doing really well, right? We need to adjust to positive market conditions that we're just seeing across the board right now. So that yeah, we could also pull IBIT right here. IBIT right here. So again, Bitcoin ETF. You could also see buy signal at 38 over here. Now it's moving up to like 44. Fantastic stuff, I gotta say. That's really next week right there. Uh, non-crypto bets for next week, please. Non-crypto, okay. So that's for next week. For next non-crypto bets for next week, I definitely like the ones that we talked about today. So like Reddit, Rubrik, Instacart, and Astera Labs, right? Those are like I like those fresh shelves for next week. And I also like the Magnificent Sevens specifically. I think Amazon, Google, and then really like I'm really watching like Apple and Meta. I mean Amazon's good too. Like Amazon, it just launched out, right? It's gonna go higher. But really, like conviction wise, I really think a big player is gonna come into this in like soon. So I definitely like Nvidia, Meta, uh, in the near term, and I also like Reddit. Really, yeah, these are all great names. And then Apple, right? But Apple, like, I need that big player to show up. So I'm like, where are you, big player? We need to go, we need to get like some big influencer to say, hey, big player, come on in, get into Apple, pump us up, pump it up. It it kind of is like that's what it is at the end of the day, but most investors don't want to hear that, right? Like they don't want to hear like, hey, that's not how the game is played. But who's to say those were the defined rules? The rules of is really the market behavior. The market defines the rules. Um, so yeah, those are the plays for next week, guys. Bernard says my suggestion is take your gains, take your age percentage as what you should own in getting stronger. For example, he says 60% for him, me in Costco, Walmart, etc., and half of the rest across profitable growing companies, and remaining on the K solid moving companies. Yeah, yeah, like whatever I say here, like yeah, I think that's a great like diversification, like 10, 20% like solid moving companies. That's a nice exposure to like momentum, like 10, 20% of your portfolio. But hey, like like some of these big moves could just really make your year. So this is fantastic. The markets are blessing us with an opportunity right now. And if you even look at the Bitcoin seasonality, if I pull up some expensive charts, like this is like the time that Bitcoin has a tendency to move off. Shoot, we're talking about Bitcoin again. But Baral was like, hey, no crypto related, please. Um, yeah, so that's what I'm seeing, guys. Anyways, it's 12 o'clock. We made it. I had another very enjoyable session with you folks today. Um, I'm looking forward to another, amazing week. I'll be here again next week to put in the training with you guys. Bernard says, and invest in apple pie at Marie Callender's for Thanksgiving and be thankful for what you have. Oh yeah. Speaking of Thanksgiving, super duper thankful. I might even just like teach on Thanksgiving. I don't know. I mean, my family's local, so we hang out. I might want to teach, but we'll see. We'll see how it is. If not, I might. you know, I might not, but we'll see. I'm leaning towards yes right now. But yeah, folks, I definitely enjoyed the session here today. It's been a long journey. Today is not as special as last week, right? Last week was my 365th investment club meeting. Today kickstarts a new adventure, 366 investment club meeting, and yeah, still no regrets. I mean, like, along the way, of course, you'll have like, emotional bumpiness where you're like, oh, is this a good choice? Good choice. But now, more mature with a perspective, I don't regret at all. I think this was like an excellent journey for me, to just like teach and learn. It taught me to, appreciate the practice. And I hope you guys are thankful for the practice as well. And just take it by the days, right? Like don't feel frustrated because you miss out on a trade, blah blah blah. Like just take it one day at a time. Like if it's one stock, like yeah, just analyze one stock. Just take it easy one day at a time. And soon, like the more like I guess like just bounce ideas either with me or someone else, another community, whatever. Like you become a lot more experienced and you just become a lot more confident with the charts. So I don't know, I'm just kind of proud to see like the confidence kick in and it's just all excitement, like looking forward to things. So hopefully we help you guys get there too. Anyways, any last questions before I power off to go get some pho? Because I am already thinking about pho right there. Uh, it looks like my family already locked me in for 12:30. Get pho at 12:30. Any stocks, guys? I mean, I always love to see what you guys are talking about as well. But I've already like I could come up I could show you my lists of like whatever stocks, like all these like performers are here. API was on there, Expensify, Bill, Toast. Quantum's been hot, like Ion Q over here, right? Hopefully that'll be hot for our deal. 14net, SoFi is on there, Tesla, excuse me, Coinbase, Rivian. I mean, there's a lot of stocks. Palantir. I mean, yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys see Palantir? That thing is just like taking off. LLY, Robinhood, Sound. Sound's kind of waking up right here, so that might be a pop right there, right? Something to look at. Earlier when Bernard asked about On, I thought it was like On, which is the shoe brand, but yeah, not really that. PayPal continues to go. Lots of stocks, but yeah, um, I'm excited. I'm going to pass on. Yeah, I'm going to pass on that one as well. Maybe it pops up later, but for now, I'd rather play Astera Labs if it's a chip company, and then even like maybe like AAOI, which was a recommendation from one of the investment club members like 8 years ago. My gosh, was it 8 years ago? Yeah, like eight years ago, one of the investment club members, he worked at Nvidia, and so he said this was like a major supplier, or something like that. I don't know, I forget. But he said to take a look at this stock. I mean, that was 8 years ago, so 8 years ago it wasn't performing, right? Like, was it 8 years ago? It was just many years ago. Yeah, oh shoot, yeah, it was probably like 8 years ago. That would be like 2016. So it's this one. I mean, seeing the behavior of this stock, this is like one of those pump stocks. So for next week, this should be on the list as well. Just because like semiconductors are going to be performing. And what's funny? Broadcom, VMware is on my radar next week. So that's a stock to play. Palo Alto Networks, um, whatever's hitting highs, I'm gonna chase after it, because I think there's some money to be made there. But it's very hard for a lot of people in the beginning to discipline yourself to buy those highs, right? It's not easy. It's not easy because like one is like getting in is already hard because the price is high, and then two is like risk managing at a high price. But then you're also experiencing like maybe your ego's kicking in. You're like, oh man, I'm up green. I just woke up in a Bugatti or whatever, right? Like it's just like so much energy, like you feel good, but um, we gotta just stay disciplined and just keep going. So, all right, folks, have a fantastic rest of your night or Sunday, and I certainly look forward to seeing you all next week for another fantastic session and see where crypto takes off next, crypto or any of these stocks take off.